Developing an addiction is not a character flaw or a sign of weakness, and it takes more than willpower to overcome any kind of these problems. So any kind of abuse or addiction can really create changes in the brain and cause powerful cravings and a compulsion to use that makes even sobriety seem like an impossible goal. But recovery is never out of reach, and no matter how hopeless you may seem or your situation may seem, with the right treatment and support, change is possible. Don't give up, even if you've tried and you've failed before. The road to recovery involves many bumps and pitfalls and even setbacks, but by examining the problem and thinking about the change, you're already well on your way. The first step to overcoming your addiction is simply to write down the harmful effects of your addiction. And you don't have to be a drug user or an alcoholic to have an addiction. Maybe you feel like you have something out of balance in your life. Do you exercise too much? Do you eat too much chocolate? Is there too much sugar in your life? I have a friend who decided that the sugar addiction was way over the edge and gave that up. And it may really not feel very good to acknowledge all the ways in which this addiction is harming you, but seeing the list on paper is really going to help you to resolve it and stop as soon as possible. Take out a pen and a piece of paper and brainstorm a list that includes all the negative effects you've experienced since you started your addiction. Then, make a list of the positive changes you want in your life. Now that you have detailed all the negative effects of your addiction, think about how much your life is going to improve once you've kicked that habit. Can you create a picture of your life post-addiction? How do you want it to look? Write down all of your quitting commitments. What is your commitment? Have a list of reasons to quit and then stick to it. Put it where you can see it and so that you remember why you're doing it. I have a friend who put hers on the refrigerator. Your reasons for quitting must be more important to you than continuing the addiction. And this mental hurdle is tough, but it's a necessary first step to quit any kind of addiction. No one can make you quit but yourself. Write down the solid reasons for why you're stopping the habit, because only you know what. Then make a plan. Set a date to quit. Don't set it for tomorrow unless you're pretty sure that quitting cold turkey is going to work for you. And don't set it for more than a month from now because you might lose your resolve. Aim for a date in the next couple of weeks, then give yourself enough time to really get prepared. Seek professional support and personal support. Identify your triggers. Everyone has one. Is it stress that does it, or boredom? Is there a certain place that you tend to overeat? Or is there a certain place that you smoke? For example, if you're struggling with an alcohol addiction, you might find it difficult to attend a certain restaurant. Or if you're addicted to gambling, maybe a casino is really going to trigger something. Knowing these triggers is going to help you face them down when it takes time to quit. Then you want to really start ramping up and make sure that you're going to work on ramping down that addictive behavior. Get excited about the proposition and knowing what the future holds. So instead of quitting immediately, start by decreasing little by little. And this works for most people. So maybe if you overeat, instead of saying, I am going from my 3,000 calories a day to 1,000 calories a day, go from 3,000 calories to 2,800 calories a day for a few days, and then reduce it even more. Indulge less frequently and continue reducing it as you quit for good. And then also remember to get your environment ready. Remove all the reminders of the addiction from your home, your car, and your workplace. Imagine how hard it would be to give up sugar if you had donuts left on your kitchen counter. Or maybe you don't want to, let's say, smoke all the time. It'd be really difficult to give that up if you had a pack of cigarettes sitting everywhere. Remember that the object that goes along with the habit, as well as other items that are going to remind you of your habit. Next, stop the addictive behavior as planned. When the big day arrives, keep your promise to yourself and quit. And those first few days are going to be really hard. But keep busy and stay positive, and you're on your way to becoming addiction-free. Next, fill your time. Be busy. Try to find things to do that are productive to keep your mind off of it. Remember to keep clear of all of those triggers and don't give in to rationalizations. I remember talking to a friend who said, but I'm only smoking in the car, which would have been okay if they didn't have a 45-minute drive to work, right? So remember that those rationalizations can absolutely sabotage you. Also, don't let a relapse be the end of your journey. Did you make a mistake? Then recommit. It's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. And don't forget to celebrate. What is more important than celebrating your accomplishments? Do something nice for yourself. Figure out what it's going to be at the beginning. And remember all those little things. So that first day when you've given it up and it's really hard, do something to really, celebrate that first day. Maybe you want to go to a movie. Wouldn't that be fun? Do something that really makes you happy, no matter how small. And remember, this is going to be really tough work, so you need and deserve to be rewarded.